It's still amazing. Speech is amazing.
What's grading?
Thank you for the food. That's
If you have my candy, that's okay. We're sitting on.
Yeah, but I love lamb. Oh, you don't like lamb?
Do you want me to play? I sit and go like this the entire time, usually. Because science is boring.
I love these chairs.
I don't know if you should get one though.
True. We have a tall chair.
Why? Why do it
Again.
We'll shut the door, we can start.
I didn't do it at Pierce.
And if you want time about science, let's get the door. Mom, no pictures.
Says the person who's going to be on camera the whole time. You could just screenshot.
But I can take it.
No, not as me. I think I'll know.
Where do you so
No.
Yeah, Haley White chest.
No pictures.
Looking over this class of 2004, the graduating seniors will take one more look around the Rosedale Gymnasium before they say their ultimate farewell. Some, like me, will head on to college before we continue on our career. I will be going into counter-terrorist attacks. Others, like Barney and Bessie, will continue on their path in fast food disbursement. Barney and Bess. Voted best couple by the seniors of Rosedale High. Best couple of what? Best couple of cheeseburgers. High school is the ultimate test of perseverance and toughness. We fight to survive every day. So when we make it to graduation, it's definitely a time to celebrate and reminisce on all the good and bad times. Just like our speakers in Graduation by Jerry Rabushka. The valedictorian, popular girl, and principal all have something to say about the class of 2004. It is certainly a graduation to remember. Graduation by Jerry Rabushka. Now, Barney and Beth, they weren't smart, they weren't jocks, they were simply bad kids. Do you know what Barney calls success? A large vanilla shake. Do you know what Bessie calls success? Nothing. Oh, the smart kids. Can't leave them out. John Wheeler, genius, I'll say. He figured out a way to cheat on algebra, biology, and American lit. Thought nobody knew? I knew. Kids these days. You might think twice about handing him that diploma, Mr. Roberts. Maybe it needs an asterisk. But let's not dwell on the past. Though, Sheila Jordan, I'll never forgive you for greasing my violin strings with olive oil at the senior concert. Never. Though it did help me hit that high G, no problem. But now's not the time to look backwards. Not when the class of 2004 has its whole future ahead of them. For Barney and Bessie, it's fries. Lots of them. Fries with this, fries with that. The sweet sauce thank some of the teachers who made me who I am today. Sit down, Miss Torelli. I said, sit down. This is your turn in the spotlight. See, don't like it, do you? Class, today we're going to discuss symbolism in the works of Eugene O'Neill. Then we're going to compare it to the works in the symbolism in Ernest Hemingway. Now you tell me, Miss Torelli, do you really think that's a good time? If I wanted symbols, I'd have joined the marching band. Why don't we just stay home and peel potatoes? Now, there are some who say that us smart kids hold a grudge that I can't forget. Third grade, Robbie Houston put frog legs on my salami sandwich. I'll get you for it. Well, you know what? It's not that I can't forget. Who has time? I worked my butt off to become class valedictorian. Not because I'm smart, but because I wanted to get up here and make this speech. Because I wanted revenge. And now, in conclusion, for my final words as a student of Rosedale, I'd like to say, I'm tired of police escort. Now, may I introduce our next speaker, someone with a much lower GPA. I want to talk to you about school spirit. You lousy clique creating clapper, popular kids, we all hated you. School spirit is not a picnic. Being popular, a full-time job. What good is that now? You're graduating. You'll be knocking in approximately 30 minutes. Smart kids, who needs them? It takes a lot of smarts just to be popular. Ever tried it? Let me fill you in. It's quite an administrative effort. I had to keep track of trends. What to wear, what shows to watch, what music to play. I had to monitor who was doing what, how successfully, how often, with whom, and rate them accordingly. Are they keeping up? Are they hanging out with friends who aren't keeping up? I had quite the computer program going. It won me first place at a science fair. People were terrified of my printouts. Homework when? And all for what? Off to college, and I have to start all over again. So, I hereby bequeath my voluminous amount of incriminating data to Leslie Stomer, who, according to my system, is the most popular junior at Rosedale High. And now for our final speaker, Mr. James Roberts. We got along well, didn't we? After all, I was in your office more than you were. Bye.
Looking over this class of 2004, I'd like to, as a principal, reflect upon what was said by our previous two speakers. First of all, we are better than that. Barney and Bessie, when I go to Burger Wampus, they treat me like the principal. They supersize me and don't charge me a dime. It's here, Mr. Roberts. It's on Burger Wampus. Oops. Wasn't supposed to say that, was I? Well, now I'll be paying an extra 39 cents and they'll be fine. But thanks for buttering me up with extra salt, trans fat, and a 24 extra pounds. Today, they graduate with high honors. Now, you might be wondering, oh why do we choose the speakers we do? Well, let me tell you, we are changing the system. We're giving the stupid kids a chance. The uncoordinated, the metalheads, the smokers. Actually, my daughter's going to graduate next year. I hope. And she's going to be on this podium making a speech with Daddy. Don't worry, she knows everything already. Just ask her. You might be asking me, why? Oh, why do we not have tougher graduation requirements? Because we do not want them back. we are going to change the definition of what it means to be a student at Rosedale, of what it means to graduate, of what it means to wear our colors. Now, to the future, to the parents, and to this town, I hereby give my humble and wholehearted apology.
Oh my gosh. Down there where a whole bunch of people will be. Just down this hall is where all the rooms are. Yeah, all the rooms are in this hall. It's the one furthest down. Put the phone down.
I want you to practice this. If you can get her giggling, it's a really hilarious speech.
See, you should kick Roger out.
Okay, just go.
I ride because I rode as a child when life was simpler and somehow more complete. Only the whip of a clean horse is needed to remind the days gone by, for always there have been the horses. I ride because of all the great horse souls who have shared their lives with me. Their names and faces flash before me as old friends. Friendship is not limited to humankind. Grief is not reserved for man. When I first moved to Nebraska, my horse Seawild, whom I considered my best friend, passed. Through the poems, Luckiest of Them All by Mia Craddock, Letter from Your Horse in Heaven by an unknown author, and Don't Cry for the Horses by Brenda Riley Seymour, along with transitions of Luckiest of Always There Are the Horses by M. Adelia Ellis Rainey. We will go through a journey from friendship to death and learn how to overcome that death without forgetting our dear friends. A Horse's Friendship, a poetry program. I remember the day I first met you. Young and spry and wide-eyed I was to have met you. But never did I realize I was the luckiest of them all. I looked up one day to the stars for me to find my first horse. And there you were, waiting for me. The perfect answer to my prayers. But never did I realize I was the luckiest of them all until you were gone. So fast did you go, that helped. And I was still young and crazy and the unbridled person I am. But yet, I wish you still always teach me that I am the luckiest of them all. The memories made, my first champion, and much more, helps me realize that you don't need a friend to lean on at all. Because you have the best one who will always forgive you, even in your darkest hour. And that was the last time I saw you, still wide-eyed and beautiful. It's been 3 years since you went to the other side. After you showed me I am the luckiest one of all. I ride because of all the horses I shall never ride. Those I have watched and marveled at from afar for all their grace and beauty. This, the stuff of a child's dream, the kind that doesn't die with time, always there are the horses. I ride because the seasons call to me, each unique in its appeal and all, quite frequently, best viewed from the back of a favorite horse. To my dearest family, some things I would like to say. But first of all, to let you know that I arrived okay. I'm writing this from the bridge. Here Here I dwell with God above. Here there's no more tears of sadness. Here's just eternal love. Please do not be unhappy just because I'm out of sight. Remember that I am with you every morning, noon, and night. That day I had to leave you when my life on earth was through. God picked me up and hugged me, and he said, I welcome you. It's good to have you back again. You were missed while you were gone. As for your dearest family, they'll be here later on. God gave me a list of things for me to do, and foremost on that list was to watch and care for you. And when you lie in bed at night, the day's chores put to flight, God and I are closest to you, in the middle of the night. When you think of my life on earth and all those loving years, because you are only human, they are bound to bring you tears. But do not be afraid to cry, it does relieve the pain. Remember, there would be no flowers unless there was some rain. I wish that I could tell you all that God has planned. If I were to tell you, you wouldn't understand. But one thing is for certain, though my life on earth is o'er, I'm closer to you now than I ever was before. There are rocky roads ahead of you and many hills to climb, but together we can do it by taking it one day at a time. It was always my philosophy, and I'd like it for you too, that as you give unto the world will give to you. If you can help somebody who's in sorrow and pain, then you can say to God at night, my day was not in vain. And now I am content that my life was worthwhile, knowing as I passed along, I made somebody smile. If you meet somebody who is sad and feeling low, just lend a hand to pick him up as on your way you go. When you're walking down the street with me on your mind, I'm walking in your footsteps, only half a step behind. And when it's time for you to go from that body to be free, remember, you're not going, you're coming here to me. I ride because of all things, horses are my passion. They inspire and encourage, energize and challenge in ways I cannot explain to the uninitiated. I ride because of the stretch of stretching oneself just a bit farther than today than before, both mind and body. Always there are the horses. I ride because of those briefest of spans when the partnership comes to full promise, when the path twists and the barriers fall. Each footfall is measured and balanced between the two as a dance. There are no others, only this moment and this single step to ride. Don't cry for the horses that life has set free. A million white horses forever to be. Don't cry for the horses now in God's hands as they dance and they prance to a heavenly band. They were ours as a gift, but never to keep, as they close their eyes forever to sleep. Their spirits unbound on silver wings they fly. A million white horses against the blue sky. Look up into heaven, you'll see them above. The horses to be lost, the horses we love. Manes and tails flowing, they gallop through time. They were never yours, they were never mine. Don't cry for the horses, they will be back someday. When our time has come, they will show us the way. Do you hear the soft nicker close to your ear? Don't cry for the horses, love the ones that are here. The memories of those times stay vivid in my mind to be recalled, with all the freshness of the day at will, and at times less grim. But if I must choose, I ride because I have dreams yet to live. I ride because I have dreams yet to have, and what exactly they will be by tomorrow, I cannot say. But always there will be the horses.
would you do if I gave you $30 billion right now? Well, you could give every man, woman, and child in Canada $833.33. How about purchasing your 6 favorite NFL teams, or 2 moons, or feed the entire population of starving children in Nigeria? You get it. $30 billion is a lot of money, but it's also what our country spends annually on farm subsidies. Now, it's no secret that American farmers are struggling financially. For decades, our government has been searching for the solution to bring them out of financial ruin by funding agricultural subsidies. Farm subsidies are payments from the government given to farmers who have had problems with their crops and feel that they need the extra money to pull themselves out of the dust, or to provide money for other things like conservation and research. However, this strategy has not proven to be the most efficient solution. Agricultural subsidies are not the answer. They do not allow our American farmers to reach for financial independence and make choices that benefit them and the rest of society. To analyze, we will first explain what farm subsidies are. Then, we will look into why they are ineffective. And finally, we will brainstorm different ways to help our farmers become self-sufficient. If we abolish farm subsidies, your tax dollars will go towards better causes. The reduction of crop loss will lead to higher food supply, and the reduction of inputs would bring about healthier food. Slashing farm subsidies may seem extreme, but here's why it is the best move. First, we must understand what a farm subsidy is. We're not talking about the ones that incentivize conservation. Rather, we will focus on subsidies for risk mitigation like crop insurance. We'll need some history first. The USDA defines an agricultural subsidy as momentary payments and other types of support to farmers and agribusinesses. These subsidies can be used to promote certain farming practices, bring focus on research and development, conservation practices, disaster aid, targeting, nutrition assistance, risk mitigation, and more. Agricultural subsidies have been around for a while. They began when the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1933, or the AAA, was passed as part of the New Deal. This was meant to help pull farmers out of the Depression and the Dust Bowl by providing subsidy payments to farmers who agreed to grow less of certain crops. An article by the Library of Congress by Sidonie Daverine, Access, November 2nd, 2023, explains that the purpose of this was to achieve what is called parity, or a fair exchange value for agricultural products. The same article states that price control and other forms of support to farmers will continue to be one of the main purposes of the Farm Bill in years to follow. Over time, 18 different farm bills have been passed, with the most recent one being the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018. These farm bills are then renewed every 5 years. That means the government will be planning another one that will go into effect this year. So why so much for agriculture? What we really need is simplification, or more preferably, no farm bill at all. Second, let's look into why farm subsidies are an ineffective way to assist farmers. The government could be saved billions of dollars if they did not pass these farm bills every 5 years and keep handing out money. According to a 2023 article from the Cato Institute, we spend about $30 billion a year on farm subsidies. Most of these subsidies go to the largest producers of corn, soybeans, cotton, and rice anyway. Imagine the amount of money the government could redirect to more beneficial causes. These bills are also causing land destruction and promoting terrible farming practices even if they do not mean to. Farmers are trying to farm unsuitable ground, which results in crop loss, and then the farmers are turning around and asking the government for money because their crop failed. According to the previously cited article from the Cato Institute website, some programs such as crop insurance may draw marginal lands into active production. Economists Vincent Smith and Barry Goodwin argued there's an extensive body of research overwhelmingly reporting that subsidized crop insurance has encouraged farmers to shift production onto more fragile lands, thereby increasing soil erosion and agriculture's carbon footprint. Additionally, subsidies take away the independence of farmers. Farmers are taking advantage of these subsidies by farming unsuitable ground, and then they're turning around and asking the government to cover their losses. Instead, our American farmers need to become more independent by really embracing our free market economy. A book called The 5,000 Year Leap by W. Cleon Skousen, published in 2009, explains one of the founding fathers' principles for a free market economy. He stated there are 4 laws of economic freedom: the freedom to try, the freedom to buy, the freedom to sell, and the freedom to fail. More importantly, Skousen teaches us the founding fathers agreed with Adam Smith, the writer of The Wealth of Nations, that the greatest threat to economic prosperity is the arbitrary intervention of the government into economic affairs of private businesses and the buying public. One of his examples was subsidizing. By eliminating the Farm Bill, we grow closer to what our founding fathers had in mind when they formed this nation. Now, you may be wondering, well, what can replace agricultural subsidies? Or you may think it's a bunch of hocus pocus. But there are a few options. We can completely get rid of it to begin with. The farmers should learn to be independent and learn how to make money on their own. The farmers of New Zealand have had success with this. The Cato Institute article also explains that New Zealand acquitted most of its farm subsidies in the 1980s. Farm productivity, earnings, and environmental practices all improved after New Zealand's changes, while farmers diversified land use, cut costs, created new markets, and sought non-farm income. The farmers expanded their horizons. They actually became much more successful without agricultural subsidies. Eliminating the subsidies brought about better agricultural practices too. An article from the Huffington Post by Mark Ross, published September 16, 2012, found that the most efficient agricultural production in New Zealand has encouraged better environmental management. Because they cut farm subsidies, for example, it reduced the previous overuse of fertilizer. Another way to replace agricultural subsidies is to reform the subsidies to promote good agricultural practices and provide money for conservation efforts. We can do this by increasing propaganda that promotes farmers to participate in conservation efforts. The Natural Resource Conservation Service, or the NRCS, is one branch of the United States Department of Agriculture that helps farmers to implement conservation techniques with their farming. However, due to a lack of a push towards conservation, the NRCS is not a highly visited organization. One reason farmers are dependent on subsidies is because there isn't enough of an incentive towards conservation. With increased advertising, we could change that. We could also provide education for farmers to learn how they can make the most out of their crops and learn how economics work. The money from these programs could come from cutting farm subsidies. There are many reasons why agricultural subsidies aren't our best option. They take away the independence of our farmers. They cost the government way too much, and they don't promote good farming practices. First, we explained what agricultural subsidies were. Second, we exposed their flaws. And third, we explore different ways to replace agricultural subsidies. Our country's agriculture can improve. We need to fix these issues to make farming more reliable. We can even increase the nutritional value of our food. Our government needs to cut farm subsidies because they cost the government too much and they aren't promoting good farming practices. Let's make the most out of our agriculture and cut agricultural subsidies.
Hi, my name is Chrissy. Thank you for calling the Berry Tree Cable Company. How can I help you today?
Hi, my husband recently passed away, and he really liked watching the TV. He liked the westerns, and every time I see them, it reminds me of him. So I'd just like to cancel my cable today.
Well, I can definitely understand understand how debt can be an issue, and I'd be more than happy to help you with that today.
Thank you.
Can I just start by asking the name of the account?
It was my husband, Billy Rateski.
Oh, I had a gerbil named Billy once. Then the dog got to him and ripped his limbs right off. Poor little gerbil. Who knew there'd be so much blood in such a little guy? I do see the account now, but unfortunately, since you are not the account holder, I will not be able to help you cancel your cable. What? Yes, unfortunately, since you are not the account holder, I can't access the account.
The account holder is dead. My husband is dead. Didn't you hear me?
I can definitely understand that, and like I said, I definitely understand loss myself. I just lost my gerbil. Blood everywhere. Then I got over it.
I want my cable canceled. I want to talk to your supervisor.
Let me just check on that for you. One moment. Regina, this woman's husband died, and I can't access the account, so she wants to talk to the supervisor. Access solely the movie channel. Kids of my generation are terrified of talking on the phone. Call for a doctor's appointment? Absolutely not. Order takeout from my favorite restaurant? That's what the app is for. But calling for customer service? Completely out of the question. You never know who's on the other line. Experience this phenomenon for yourself through a series of phone calls between multiple operators and their exasperated callers. Please Hold by Clint Snyder. Well, it does look like I was able to speak to the supervisor, and she informed me that I would not be able to cancel your account. What I can do is go ahead and offer you a discounted rate on the movie channel for $5 a month. Looks like tonight they're showing a nice little action flick with cute little aliens that shoot fangs out of their chests. Doesn't that sound great? This is ridiculous! What's ridiculous is the amount of savings you would be receiving with the movie channel.
I want my cable canceled now.
I can definitely understand that, but unfortunately, I will not be able to help you with that.
Can you really understand that, or are you just saying that?
One moment, I may actually be able to transfer you over to someone who can help you with that. It'll just be a brief, teensy hold, okay?
Thank you.
Beep. Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Patty. How can I help you today? Hello? Yes, ma'am. Hello. Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. How can I help? Is this the airport? No. No, ma'am. This is Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Patty. How can I help you today? What was your name? Patty. Edward? No, ma'am. Patty. Gary? No. Patty, it's Patty. Oh. Donald. Yes, ma'am. My name is Donald. Well, sir, my cable bill is just too high. I can definitely understand how that could be an issue. I'd be more than happy to help you with that today. Can I just start by having the name of the account? The what? The name. The what? The name. Oh, the name. I don't remember. That's fine, ma'am. That's just fine. Can I have the phone number in the account? Phone number. 5. And what was the rest? That's it. 5. Your phone number is not 5. I don't see it here on the bill. It's not on the bill. It's the number you use to call people. I don't see that. Oh, $19.95. Just one moment. I might actually be able to transfer you over to someone who can help you with that. There'll just be a brief hold. Beep. What do you want? Hello, use your words. I was just looking to lower my cable bill. Why? Well, I recently lost my job and I was looking to lower it to possibly save some money. Look, lady, we've all got our problems. I got a lot of lotion on my skin right now that needs to be rubbed in before it gets everywhere. A lot of lotion. Nobody's gonna do that for me. I'm just gonna have to sit here and take care of the problem myself. But you don't see me complaining about it. Well, I just saw the ad on the TV telling me to call in. And I thought I would do that to hopefully lower the cable bill. Can't believe everything you see on TV. That's true. Let's just entertain this little notion that you have that I might be able to lower the bill. How am I supposed to do that when I don't even know your name? Oh, it's Connie Greenlee. Connie, can you spell that for me? Oh, sure, it's C-O-N. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need you to spell it for me. I know how to spell it. I was just making sure that you could. If you couldn't, I was going to let you know how. Oh. Well, Miss Connie, perhaps it's just your alias. I do not see an account under that name at all. You're just going to have to try a lot harder. Oh, I don't know why that didn't come up. Oh, no. What? What is it? There's fire everywhere. Ah, hell. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to be able to assist you today. No, that's fine. Just get to a safe place. Sure will. It looks like I might be able to, in the last few minutes that this office hasn't burned to the ground, transfer you over to someone that can help you with that. It'll just be a brief hold. Ah, hi, my name is Sabrina. What do you want? Hello? Please, please, you have to help me. I need an ambulance. Ma'am, we don't do that here. Please, you have to help me. There's blood everywhere. Ma'am, I am not a clean crew. You are perfectly capable of going to the store, buying some bleach, and cleaning up the mess yourself instead of talking to me about it. What? I thought this was the number for the ambulance. You need help. Is there anything you can do to help me? Well, if you are interested, I can offer you a deal on the movie channel. Does that sound great? What? No, please, you have to help me. I see him. He's coming back and he has a knife. I need to get out of here. Oh, you're moving. Why didn't you say so? Just let me transfer you over to someone who can help you with that. It'll just be a brief hold. No, no, please don't leave me. Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Chrissy. How can I help you today? Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Chrissy. How can I help you today? Regina, my phone is down. Mine's broke too. Yes, break time. Just one moment. Every lines will be back up in a second. Wait a minute. How is she still on the phone? Oh, she's not actually talking to anyone. She's just crazy. Yes, sir. I'll get the movie channel added right onto the account for you. Your voice sounds very attractive too. She never takes any calls. She just talks to herself mostly. No, you're too much. Well, I can't tell you that. The past couple of weeks, she's also started thinking she's Abraham Lincoln. Look, General, the Confederates think they can take us down, and they got another thing coming. I don't care what time I told you. All right, people, the phones are back online. Get back to work. Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Chrissy. How can I help you today? I was sent to you so you could help me out with my bill. Thank you for calling Blueberry Tree Cable Company. My name is Patty. How can I help you today? My husband died and I was sent to you to hopefully get the cable canceled. Well, I can definitely understand. Unfortunately, I will not be able to help you today. Let me just transfer you over to someone who can help you. Unfortunately, I will be unable to help you with that today. I'll just transfer you over to someone who can help you with that. I have no idea what you're talking about. We actually sell pizza here. Please hold.
abused horse who became blind. The Therapy Horse Farm Hope Reigns rescued him. While he was there, Joey learned to trust every human and horse that he met, and even though he was blind, he usually initiated that trust. For horse therapy to work, the human and horse must be friends and trust each other. American psychologist and scholar Peter Gray once said, "We have almost forgotten how strange a thing it is that so huge and powerful and intelligent an animal as a horse should allow another and far more feeble animal to ride upon its back." Horses are far more than just powerful and majestic creatures. They can provide comfort and support for a range of physical and psychological disorders. One option for people with these struggles is equine therapy. Today, we will first saddle up and discover what equine therapy is. Next, we will stir up the benefits of equine therapy. And finally, we will take the reins and discuss factors to consider before beginning equine therapy. You might just discover how equine therapy can benefit someone you know and love. First, we will saddle up and discover what equine therapy is. A November 2021 article on the Columbia Psychiatry website states that equine therapy is a method of treatment used to address many physical and psychological disorders. This method of healing enhances emotional well-being and helps treat anxiety, PTSD, depression, and many other psychological issues. Equine therapy helps patients by forming an emotional connection between the horse and the human. And a therapist from You Are Heard, an equine therapy organization, states, "When they enter the ring, all defenses seem to melt away, and the experience allows us to reach deeper understandings of ourselves and our relationships. Through this connection between horse and human, a variety of therapies have been developed. Some of these types include equine-assisted learning, equine-assisted psychotherapy, hippotherapy, and therapeutic riding." An article on The Earth and Eye discusses a few of these types. Equine-assisted learning focuses on achieving academic goals and teaches communication skills, trust, honesty, respect, and awareness of surroundings. I often talk to my horses about my day, and this helps me to articulate my thoughts more clearly. Equine-assisted psychotherapy helps with behavioral and social skills and helps to treat anxiety and depression reduction and relationship development. My horses are some of my closest friends. I often go out and stargaze with them to help relieve my anxiety, and I feel more confident when I am around them. Two more types of equine therapy are the hippotherapy and therapeutic riding, as discussed on an article on the Good Therapy website. Hippotherapy focuses on the physical, occupational, and speech areas of life, and therapeutic riding helps with physical disorders by improving balance and back strength. All of these different types of therapies work in different ways to treat many physical and psychological disorders, and all of them help with the patient's mental health. Next, we will stir up the benefits of equine therapy. Equine therapy has many physical, social, physical, educational, and psychological benefits. According to the previously cited Columbia Psychiatry article, Professor of Medical Psychology Dr. Nuria states, "This innovative therapy facilitates bonding, overcoming fear, and reestablishing confidence. One must build trust with the horse for it to warm up to you." Another Columbia professor, Dr. Fisher, states that through horse-human interaction, people can relearn how to recognize their feelings, regulate emotions, and better communicate, as well as build trust and come to trust themselves again. The many benefits of equine-assisted therapy are discussed in an article from the Freedom Host Therapeutic Riding Center. The psychological benefits of equine-assisted therapy are comfort, enhanced confidence, and discipline. The social benefits are friendship, development of respect for others, improved social skills, and interaction with others. The educational benefits are improved math, science, and reading skills. It also increases focus, creates better listening skills, and improves hand-eye coordination, perception, and differentiation. The physical benefits of equine therapy are increased strength, improved balance and flexibility, faster reflexes, improved coordination, and respiratory improvements. I have seen all of these benefits in my life. Because of my horses are some of my closest friends, I often feel like I can talk to them about anything, and they help me feel more confident. I know that whatever happens, they will always be there for me to support me. But let's look at another real-world example. Columbia Psychiatry conducted a study with 63 veterans diagnosed with PTSD. These veterans went through sessions for 8 weeks, and after these sessions, 50% of them had reductions in depression and PTSD. Equine therapy can benefit people in many areas of life and could possibly benefit people in many more ways than other therapies can. Finally, we will take the reins and discuss factors to consider before beginning equine therapy. Personally, when I am having a bad day, I can just go out to my horses and they will find some way to make me smile. But someone doesn't have to own a horse to participate in equine therapy. An article on the Very Well Mind website outlines a few things to consider before beginning equine therapy. First and foremost, check with the doctor to be sure that something like allergies or asthma will not show up when working with horses. Next, make sure the timing is right. Be sure that you are not throwing equine therapy at the participant and their families. Third, confirm that the client does not have a fear of horses. Equine therapy will not work if they are scared, but there is still a possibility that they can be worked through their fear. Fourth, consider the cost. Insurance may not cover equine-assisted therapy, as it is an older method of treatment just now beginning to be looked at through a more scientific lens. Finally, speak with a therapist to discover if equine therapy will be beneficial for the person in need. You don't want to pay for it unless it will be effective. After determining if equine-assisted therapy will benefit the person in need, contact facilities near you to find a price and find out what treatments they offer. Psychology Today advises to look for a certified equine therapist that specializes in the areas where equine therapy is needed. Equine therapy could benefit people in the 4 most important areas of life: social, physical, educational, and psychological. It could impact people in many ways that other therapies cannot. And equine therapy has many things to consider, but it also has many benefits for the people who participate. One option for people with physical and psychological disorders is equine therapy. Today, we first saddled up and discovered what equine therapy is. Next, we stirred up the benefits of equine therapy. Finally, we took the reins and discussed factors to consider before beginning equine therapy. In the story from the beginning, one person to befriend Joey was an orphan boy. He was brought to Hope Reins, but he refused to interact with the horses. One day, they couldn't find him anywhere. Eventually, they found him with Joey, and the little boy was telling Joey everything. Joey was just standing there helping him feel loved in a way that only horses can. Ronald Reagan once said, "I've often said there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse."
While it is a classic, not everything in this rhyme is true. For one, it wasn't her biological mother that she killed. It was her stepmother. And it wasn't 40 or 41 whacks. It was 18 and 11. While this jump roping tune exaggerates a few details, it does not take away from the horror of the actual crime. The Lizzie Borden case was so shocking that it is still talked about to this day. First, we'll look at the background of this case. Then, we'll investigate the actual crime. And finally, we'll overview the aftermath of this case. Unlike the movies and the nursery rhyme, which have twisted the details, we'll be looking at the facts. First, let's look at the background of this case. According to the biography website, Lizzie Borden was born on July 18th in 1860 in Fall River, Massachusetts. Her parents were Sarah and Andrew Borden, and she had an older sister named Emma Borden. 2 years later, her mother Sarah unfortunately died, and Andrew remarried 3 years after that to Abby Durfee Gray. Andrew was a successful businessman in the fields of manufacturing and real estate development. According to an article from the Smithsonian magazine by Joseph Conforti, states that Andrew never liked to show off his money. The Bordens lived in a decent, while not overly extravagant home in a Catholic neighborhood instead of the Hill. The Hill was basically the rich people neighborhood, and Lizzie longed to live there amongst the wealthy. An essay published by James Madison University states that because of his wealth, Andrew wasn't the most popular person in Fall River. Lizzie, however, was quite the opposite. She was very involved in her church and some local clubs. She was a Sunday school teacher for a few years, and she was involved in the Young Women's Christian Temperance Union. Lizzie was not very fond of Abby, referring to her as Mrs. Borden instead of mother. She also grew to resent her father. About 5 years before the time of the murders, Abby's sister had fallen on hard times, and Abby had convinced Andrew to help her out by giving her a rental property. When Lizzie and Emma heard about this, they were not too happy. They believed that they deserved the property more than Abby's sister did. Because of this, Andrew ended up giving the sisters a rental property, which they were dissatisfied with due to the property's condition. The relationship between Abby, Andrew, and Lizzie would only grow worse from there. Next, let's look at the actual crime. On August 4th, 1892, Abby and Andrew were murdered in their home. Lizzie discovered the bodies and immediately told the family maid that something terrible had happened. Andrew was taking a nap on the sofa. He appeared to have been attacked with a hatchet. His face was caved in and he was unrecognizable. When they went to get a sheet to cover the body, they discovered Abby in the guest bedroom. She had also appeared to have been attacked with a hatchet. Episode 90, Emma wasn't a suspect because she was out of town. Everyone believed it was Lizzie, though she wasn't taken into custody. Episode 97 of the podcast Morbid, published on October 25th, 2019, outlines the maid's side of the story. She had been feeling a little under the weather, so Lizzie told her to go rest after she was finished making breakfast. However, Abby told her to wash the windows inside and out after breakfast. While the maid was doing that, Abby had gone upstairs to grab bed sheets. Once the outsides of the windows were washed, Abby had gone back inside, and she said she heard Lizzie laughing from the top of the stairs, which would have put her near where Abby's body was found. The previously mentioned essay from James Madison University states that the police searched the house. They found a hatchet covered with blood and clumps of hair, along with a bucket full of bloody rags in the basement. They had found their murder weapon. When the police questioned Lizzie, she said she was outside in the barn for 30 minutes before she discovered her father's body. The maid, however, said she saw Lizzie inside the house 10 minutes before the body was discovered. When the police questioned Lizzie again, she changed her story, and she kept changing her story every time she was questioned about her whereabouts. The Crime Museum states that Lizzie was arrested on August 11, 1892, though her trial didn't start until June of 1893. Due to a lack of evidence, Lizzie was acquitted and the case remains unsolved to this day. Finally, let's overview the aftermath of the Lizzie Borden case. According to a Smithsonian article from the Smithsonian magazine by Kat Estner, Lizzie and Emma inherited an estate worth around $3,000, which would be about $7 million today. They now had the life they dreamed of, but things weren't as perfect as they would have liked. Lizzie changed her name to Lizbeth to hopefully get a fresh start, but it didn't matter what she did. Everyone believed she committed the murders, and they no longer accepted her into the community. Children threw objects at her house. They even pranked and taunted her. And people at her church refused to sit next to her. Not only did she have a difficult time leaving the shadows of the murders, little did she know her story would live far past her death in 1927. To date, there are dozens of movies, TV shows, musicals, and ballets depicting the legend of Lizzie Borden. Some of the more popular titles include Lizzie, starring Kristen Stewart, Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, starring Christina Ricci, and the 1975 made-for-TV film, The Legend of Lizzie Borden. She even had a cameo on an episode of The Simpsons. Beyond just the relevance of current media, Lizzie Borden was the first murder story to splatter the front pages. A 2016 Jester article called it the trial of the century, stating that it garnered as much, if not more press than O.J. Simpson's proceedings a century later. The Lizzie Borden case had as much media about it as we would have today. The Lizzie Borden case was the catalyst that sparked our obsession with the dark and morbid of the true crime genre. Though the movies and news and the nursery rhyme tend to twist the details, we still look at the facts. To clear up some of these details, we first looked at the background of this case. Then, we investigated the actual crime, and finally, we overviewed the aftermath of the case. Whether Lizzie was a true culprit, we'll probably never know. Was she innocent? Was this an isolated incident? The thing about good stories is that they will continue to be told and retold for generations to come. It's unlikely we've seen the last rendition of the legend of Lizzie Borden. Lizzie Borden took an axe.
Life is a highway. Anxiety is a racetrack going around and around. I'm going 90 and 35, forever racing around the track. My pit stops are only minutes at a time, maybe even seconds. Never knowing what's around the next turn, even though I know it's the exact same track. Racing thoughts are often fast-moving, repetitive thought patterns. They can be overwhelming. These thoughts may focus on a single topic or represent multiple different lines of thought. You may have racing thoughts about a financial issue, an embarrassing moment, or a phobia. These thoughts may also escalate. On February 18th, 2001, Dale Earnhardt Sr., considered one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history, dies at the age of 49 in a last lap crash at the 43rd Daytona 500 in Daytona Beach, Florida. And Earnhardt was driving his famous black number 3 Chevrolet and vying for third place when he collided with another car and then crashed into the wall. After being cut from his car, Earnhardt, whose tough, aggressive driving style earned him the nickname the Intimidator, was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead of head injuries. We all move through life in our own ways, the best that we know how. We come up with metaphors and explanations to describe our pain. I have anxiety. According to the National Institute of Health, 31.9% of high school students experience anxiety. My anxiety is like a racetrack. Sometimes I win first place. Other times I crash before the race is over. Experience my anxiety through an article from Heartland, Healthline, multiple news sources, and the poem, The Race of Anxiety by Celia Munn. Racing Thoughts, a program of oral interpretation. The starting point, the trigger, parents divorcing, pressuring myself to do better, being bullied, experiencing trauma. I get to my place ready to race. I hear the countdown and start my engine, and we're off, racing down the blacktop when the green flag is waved. Trying to pass the other cars, the other problems, fighting with a friend, finding a job, having a relationship. I try to get around them. I get stuck behind some for what feels like hours. Others I leave behind in the dust and shove them to the back of my mind. I take a pit stop. Racing thoughts can increase your anxiety or feelings of unease and can disrupt your concentration. When you're having racing thoughts, you may feel like your mind is going a mile a minute. You aren't able to slow down your thoughts. Your mind isn't able to shut off and you can't fully relax. It is difficult to focus on anything else. You keep thinking about a problem and that has been blown out of proportion. The Westmoreland County Coroner's Office was called for an incident at Keystone Raceway Saturday afternoon. Ronnie John Ruggiero, 37 of Irvine, PA, was drag racing his pickup truck when he failed to come to a stop at the end of the track. The vehicle went into the gravel safety pit at a high rate of speed and was stopped by the safety sand mound, according to Westmoreland County Coroner Kim Carson. Ruggiero died of his injuries at the scene. He was wearing a helmet and a 5-point harness at the time of the accident. A few minutes that I'm out on the track again. Those few minutes felt like a blink of an eye. I get stuck behind the worst problem, the fastest, toughest car. I lose friends in my job, and I am stressed. The final straw comes, and a wave of anxiety surges through me. I can't keep following life, trying to get over everything by myself. Suddenly, I lose control. I black out. Boom! You can take several steps to manage or prevent racing thoughts if you're having them right now. Number 1, focus on breathing. Take several deep, careful breaths and focus on counting while inhaling and exhaling. This can force your mind to focus on something other than your racing thoughts. It can also have a calming effect on your central nervous system. This can reduce anxiety. I feel the weight of my body slam against the windshield, dropping to the floor, but can't do anything to gain control. I see and hear everything, but I can't act. I see the yellow flag blowing in the wind. I realize it's for me. I can't move, paralyzed with fear. There's nothing I can do. I melt into the seat and panic. Number 2, try a mantra. You can use a mantra, repeated when necessary, to take your mind off of racing thoughts. Even one like everything will be fine can be helpful. Mantras can help ease feelings of stress, fear, and depression. The problems and stress pile up. The cars pile up. Other cars see the red flag waved by the official and stop. Somehow, I manage to stay alive. I manage to regain control. I drive the final lap sputtering and stumbling. Everyone was worried, but everyone is cheering for me to finish. I see the white flag and know I'll make it. I am finally on my last lap of this race. I feel in control and calm. Life is okay. Number 3, therapy. Longer-term therapy can help identify the cause of anxiety. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, may be particularly helpful. It can teach you coping mechanisms and techniques to manage these thoughts. I tell someone, an adult, a teacher, my best friend. They say, I need help. I schedule an appointment. I cry and scream at the top of my lungs at a therapist, I finally feel understood. I get the help I need. I am now diagnosed with having a generalized anxiety disorder. I take my medicine every morning to not crash again. I see the checkered flag. I have passed the finish line. I made it. Some didn't make it. They crashed and couldn't go on. Their cars were total wrecks. They saw the black flag waving for them. I made it. I succeeded in the race of anxiety. I didn't get first, but I made it. I breathed. NASCAR driver Ryan Preece was discharged from the hospital on Sunday after his car rolled more than half a dozen times during a crash at Daytona International Speedway. Videos show Preece's car flipped through the air before it landed. The car appeared to be on fire when it finally stopped rolling. Preece was able to get out of the car by himself. He was brought to the Halifax Health Medical Center, where he stayed through the night. Stuart Haas Racing said on social media Sunday, Preece was awake, alert, and mobile, and communicating with family and friends, the team said. This isn't the last race. I have thousands of races, millions of laps to go around the never-ending track, crossing the finish line over and over again. But those will come later. Right now, I just have to focus on the here and now. This next lap, trying not to crash, staying in my lane and making it. Some didn't make it. I made it.
You guys can go and we'll leave because we have to help clean up. This way you don't have to call me. She knows everything. Does she? Do we just have dinner when we get home? Or should we go to like DQ or something?
Subway's a little more sustainable.
Yeah, Brayden and I will go to Subway.
Well, these chairs just,
Yeah, the chairs back here usually just stay.
What?
What?
That we?
The pet chicken.
No, we won't eat
Really,
the
I was reading or listening to an audiobook that we did yesterday. And it weird. They talk about how we do that, you know? Like,
We might
I
do
was
it.
almost crying.
Sorry, no Bridgewater bottle.
Listening to it. It was so.
They had in the book Joey did.
Nice job, Addison.
Hey, I gotta take her. Why did I leave my bag for my board in the,
where is it?
It's in the other room, in Bambi's room.
Thanks.
Celia, I didn't have my benefits in order.
Instigated the issue.
What issue? What?
Instigated his issue.
Probably makes for interesting dinner conversations.
You want your bag?
Or you could just help me carry my stuff.
Hey,
You're gonna eat it for supper then.
oh, thanks.
Should we go?
Do we have a break it. It's bad enough.
It's already broken, it won't matter.
Well, we can't break it more because then we can't even fix
Oh,
that.
yeah, you still have to use the board, don't you?
Yeah.
So that's
Gracias, Daddy.